What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome to Sports in the D. This your boy MJ.
It's your boy C Booth. You seen us on the field.
Now you see us in the studio. Welcome to the Sports in the D show.
What's up, baby? All right, let's get to it, man. Let's talk about Game of the Week, man. Game of the Week was River Rouge, Catholic Central. Score was 16-3. It was. I think it's so relevant because it's a cultural clash, man. You know what I mean? River Rouge is downriver. You got CC that's out in Novi. Both outside of the city of Detroit, but very well-known schools in the city of Detroit.
Very good programs.
Very good programs. CC has won, I think, like 12 or 13 state championships, and River Rouge, I mean, when I first seen River Rouge, they were in the state. It's the first time I ever seen anything about River Rouge is when I saw them in the state championship a couple years ago in the D5 state championship when they lost. I can't remember who they lost to, but they both very prominent programs, very well-known programs around the city of Detroit, around the Metro Detroit area. And I think, you know, you obviously pay attention to players like DeAndre Bully in games like this. What's the quarterback's name from?
Number 5?
Yeah.
Or are you talking, okay. I do not know. It's like Hrabowski or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce your name, man. I'm not going to lie. I tried a few times. But number 5 for Rouge.
Yeah, but and then you got a bunch of kids on CC, man. That just honestly, CC is known to be a very sports dominated school. The wrestling program is one of the best wrestling programs in the country. I mean, they got like 100 kids in a wrestling program, and I don't even know if River Rouge has a wrestling program. So just as far as a cultural clash, you could definitely see the differences between, you know, on the sideline, how they prep, you know, hype each other up, and just even the fans, you know what I mean? It's just a big difference. You was at the game though, right?
Yeah.
Just talk about the game, bro. What you think?
Well, technically, I'm gonna hit on some points, man. It was a defensive clash, man. You know, both sides had turnovers at critical points in the game. River Rouge actually had a turnover on special teams, their first possession. You know what I'm saying, and giving CC the ball back in good field position. But then after that, you know, River Rouge just kept stopping them, man. They just got too many weapons, man, on the defensive end. I mean, all over the field from the D-line to the secondary. And I'm going to give you a couple names, but, I mean, you got our boy number 6, Josh Riley. He's a good safety, man. Josh is a beast, man. Josh always been a beast. And he might be the most athletic person on the field at any time. He's coming through. He's running downhill. He's good in coverage. Another guy, David Carter Jr., he's a 2020. He's a DB and a wide receiver. He's good. He caught a pick, ran it down. He got a hawk. He shouldn't have got a hawk, man. They should have did a pick 6. And that's next level stuff. So next time you get that, remember, man, you gotta take that to the crib. You also got Amorion Smith. I thought, honestly, he was the player of the week for me. He was the player of the game. You know what I'm saying? He's the player of the game for me. Man, he just always downhill, always in the backfield. I mean, good in coverage. The pick that what's his name? The number 8, David Carter got. He put the pressure on the quarterback to force it, you know, and to force him an early throw, you know what I'm saying, or a late throw, however it went. You know, so from number 52, Hurst, 55, Guilford, number 90, Miles. They some dogs on the front line, some straight dogs. 27, Watson, he a cornerback, and number 21, Smith, he had a few big plays, and I think he had an interception. So to me, it all came down to CC was still in the game until, you know, the fourth quarter. Number 5, the quarterback, he did a quarterback sneak, punched it in. So now they up 16-3, but CC still coming down the field with a few minutes left. You know, it get to 4th and 6, and, you know, they stop them on 4th and 6. They just had too many weapons, too many athletes. You know, the quarterback, Boyle, for CC, he's a sophomore, so, you know, I don't think he ever been in a game at this situation with these type of athletes. I mean, the holes were closing fast. You know, the speed that they have on the outside, the length that they have on the outside, their arms are long. Omarion, used to see him, and everybody on their defensive secondary is 6'2". You know,
it's crazy.
Long arms, 200 pounds, 190. So they really got the best athletic defense I've seen in a while.
I think it's definitely a good point to mention how Corey Parker works, man. You know, he's definitely probably one of the best coaches in the state, man. But just the difference between him and the coach from Catholic Central, his name is Dan Anderson. I met Dan a couple times. He's the successor of what's his name? Coach Tom Match, I believe that's his last name. I'm probably saying his last name wrong, but it's just crazy to see like how differently they run their programs, but how successful they still are.
Right.
So, so you had a player of the week.
Yeah, I did. And I accidentally said it earlier. But my player of the week is my man Amarion Smith. And I went back and forth, you know what I'm saying, between Smith and my dog Josh Wiley, because Josh knows my dog. I mean, everybody knows Josh my dog. But Amarion, man, he was just, I mean, he had 3 or 4 sacks. He had so much pressure on the quarterback. He was good in coverage. I just thought that his length was just so noticeable. And hardly ever do you notice length on a player, but his length was so impactful.
Great.
You know what I'm saying? Like he, you know, it was just easy to
shutting
get
them
a
down.
hand on the quarterback.
Offense, we got to do a little better, but yeah, we're doing a great job as a team.
Okay, so what you got to do to get this done, to pull it out? Second half.
We got to keep dominating on defense and getting our offense the ball in good position.
So yeah, that was my player of the week. What about you?
Man, it had to be Marquez, man. That's my boy, man. Marquez Bridges. Quez, he 312 yards, man, all purpose. As soon as he came in the game playing quarterback, the quarterback that was playing before him, he just seemed like he was a little nervous in the game at first. And I think once they put Quez in, Quez is a great athlete. Every time I see him play, he's always making plays. And obviously, you could tell he had 312 yards in the game. But I think as soon as he got in the game, you could feel his impact from the first play, him being able to find creases, him being able to find holes as he was running. You know, every hole isn't always there. Sometimes you got to make a hole. Sometimes you got to be patient when you're running the ball. And I believe he really, when he stepped in the game, he started playing quarterback, the score was 14-0. And as soon as he came in, you could tell the ball started moving a little bit more. Demby was able to move the ball a little bit better. Defensively, I think Demby, I said last week, I thought the game was going to be won in the trenches. That's why I picked Mumford. But I really believe that Demby's defense really helped them stop Mumford. They struggled with him in the first quarter, but after Marquez got going, that defense stepped it up, and it was like night and day for them.
Now we're going to get into Farmington versus North Farmington in the OAA Blue. You know, these guys have been rivals for years. There was a big discrepancy. You know, a lot of talk about this game coming up, you know, week 8. Because, you know, you got guys from Harrison, they went to both different schools, and, you know, they were brothers, and now, you know, it's a little animosity there. Talk about that.
Yeah, man. You got players and coaches coming over from Harrison. They all wanted to go to North Farmington. Obviously, for very obvious reasons, Harrison and Farmington were rivals. So why would you go over to Farmington if they rivals already? And North Farmington honestly wasn't the best football school. I saw a stat that said when they went 5-0, it was 31 years since they've been 5-0. I remember reading the stat about that. But you got John Harrison at North Farmington being the head coach there. He brought some of his players over. John Harrington is still on the sideline over there helping out right now. But it's crazy because some of those kids that went to North Farmington actually transferred to Farmington before the season, like before they had went over to North Farmington and practicing with them and everything, and then they at the last minute they changed their mind. They wanted to go to Farmington. It was a lot of players on North Farmington that wasn't really too happy about it. You know what I mean? Obviously they had their reasons why they did that, and we'll show you the interview on that. But we also the quarterback Maxwell Martin, Miles Hunt, the lineman, and Alexander, the athlete that they had back there at safety, they all were at North Farmington at first, and then they all transferred over to Farmington to play. And the defensive tackle that had the block punt in the game, Andrew Dooley, he had a lot to say about that after the game.
When I talked to you 2 days ago, you were hot on the word betrayal.
Yeah.
How do you square that with what happened today?
We beat them. It feels great. They came in thinking they was gonna win. They thought that they knew our plays because they used to go here, but they didn't. We did what we were supposed to do. We kept with the ship. We kept going.
Is there any one play that you were involved in that meant the most to you from this game?
Yeah, the block punt. My block scoop and score. That was big in the game. It was early in the game. We only won 13-9, so we needed every play we could get.
What do you think about that last play of yours well, not yours, but I mean the safety at the end?
I thought it was a smart move by coach. I wasn't thinking about it. I thought we were just going to punt the ball. I was getting ready to run on the field and get ready for punt, but it was a smart move by coach, and that's why we win. We got the best coaches in the state.
When did you know that play was going to happen?
You talking about the safety?
Yes.
Well, they called the timeout. They were talking about it on the sideline, and I don't remember which coach brought it up, but one of them brought it up, and they said, "Yeah, let's do it." So.
Okay, and do you think you surprised them?
Surprised who? Farmington?
Yeah.
We shouldn't have surprised them, but I guess we did.
With the safety?
Oh yeah, the safety. Yeah, they thought they weren't rushing; they were all dropping back. So, and then Jacob was in the end zone running around for about an extra 5-10 seconds.
Right, and then at the end, before that, they took 1 or 2 bad penalties there for, I guess, because they were pissed off. Yeah. Did you notice anything like that going on?
I didn't see it. If I saw it, I would have tried to stop it. I didn't see it.
Okay, all right. Do you feel like maybe you taught them a lesson or anything like that?
I think as a team we taught them a lesson. They were making like diss tracks and stuff about us and all that.
Oh, really?
And you see the score. We won.
Where did you find out about that?
He wasn't even on the team, but some kid at Farmington made a diss track about us. Yeah.
How'd you find out about that?
It gets around the city and stuff.
Yeah.
Sending links and all that.
Wow. So that's on the internet somewhere?
It might be. I don't know. He might delete it.
After this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm done.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
So as far as the game goes, we talked about the rivalry. We talked about the kids. You guys just saw the interview. But now we want to get into some of the the big key play moments of the game. For Farmington, the score was 13-9. So as the kids said, that block punt was a big thing because they needed every point in the game like this. For some reason, the drive stalled out, drive after drive. You had missed throws, you had overthrows, you had 9 catches. It just seemed like the offensive wasn't on the same page. I don't want to say that it was a defensive game, but 13-9, defense was doing something. Maxwell from Farmington, he had a touchdown, but then they got the other points from the safety that the quarterback for North ended up taking, which happened to be like the smartest play of the game. It was 3rd and 20, and then Farmington stopped them. And this is in the first quarter with like a minute and something to go. And then it was 4th and 20, a minute 12, with 40 to go. And the Farmington head coach, North Farmington head coach, John Hairstein, he decided to take a safety. And they ended up running like 40, 50 seconds off the clock. So by the time Farmington got the ball back, it was only 22 seconds left.
12 seconds. It was 12 seconds left. It was 22 seconds when they punted it, and then it was 12. They ran 10 seconds off.
Right, okay. So that's how that went. And Farmington had 12 seconds for a Hail Mary, which was poorly executed. They just didn't get the guys in the right positions. Quarterback threw the ball a little too soon. That was, but it was a big penalty as well. It's a big penalty. So
it happened at the end of the game. They actually gave them an extra play to run a Hail Mary, and when they ran the Hail Mary, honestly, when you think of a Hail Mary, man, you think of like 500. You know what I'm saying? When you throw that ball up in the air, it's like 500. Somebody will go up there, go get the ball. You know what I mean? They get that 500 points. But it was a jackpot, whatever. You call it whatever. But you go up and you go get the ball. But at the end of the game, they didn't do that. It was only like 2 receivers running on one side, was 2 receivers running on the other side. When you think about a Hail Mary, you think about everybody being bunched in. When you watch the Packers game, when the Packers threw that Hail Mary touchdown against the Lions, it was like 10 people over there. Pretty much the whole team, the whole field, everybody that was on the field was over in that area. You know what I mean? So I just think The Hail Mary probably could have been ran a little bit better. But I don't think people really run Hail Marys like that in practice often. I remember when I played high school football, we ran 2-minute drills, but we didn't run Hail Marys that often. So maybe that's just a point. People probably should practice it a little bit more. All right, so we're going to talk about the PSL playoffs a little bit. Went to the game, went to go see both of the PSL games last week. Henry Ford beat Osborne last week in the thriller, bro. It was a game-winning touchdown at the end of the game. Charles Banks caught the game-winning touchdown. It was extremely lit, man. It was super dope. I thought that Henry Ford, it was kind of a sloppy game for most of the game, but for the most part, they were competing, and it was extremely competitive. You could tell that both of them wanted to go to that championship game. Henry Ford got their 6th win to get into the playoffs, and they got into the championship game. Now they get to play Detroit Central again, which is one of the teams that they lost to by a point. I think it should, for the Division II PSL championship, I think it should be a really entertaining game, man. I think that Detroit Central definitely is proving themselves to be in the top 5 now. They definitely shown they're 7-1 right now, and they've only lost one game. We got to put them in the PSL top 5, and they playing in the championship game. So
right, and then some of the guys from that Detroit Central team actually had a kid DME. We talked. He's like, man, we should be talked about. They 7-1, so heading into the Division II PSL championship. I'm gonna just give off a few names for those guys. But you got Kenyatta McWeaver. Orlando Clarkson, they both play, wide receiver and corner. You also have Justin Tuggle, Jeremiah Dixon, and Elijah Granger. Just to throw a few names out there. We're going to try to get y'all some more information on those guys, but we just wanted to put them on the radar because those guys are players for Detroit Central, notable players. So watch out for them. Next, we're going to run into this Division I PSL championship game where it's the rematch, between Denby and King. And, Kurt had been on that sideline. He said, Denby won it. They won it back. It was 34-14 that first game, and after we predicted Mumford, beating Denby, they had a little bit of fire. So now they're underdogs again. How will they respond? That's what we really want to know. So how do you think they're going to respond?
Honestly talking, Marquez had a really good game, as I talked about earlier in the show. I think his impact is definitely going to be important. You got Latrell Tompkins committed to Toledo, very athletic, 6'2", about 220 pound defensive end. Kid probably run a 4.5, 4.6. He's really fast for his size. But when I watched that game last week when they played Mumford, their defense looked a lot better than what they did against King. So I think honestly they didn't play bad defense against King. They only held King to 32 points, which most of the time, and it was like a real 32 points. Like they had their starters in the fourth quarter still, which normally King they pulling their starters out by halftime. Most of the teams that they play. So
PSL anyway.
Right. So I really believe that Denby actually can give them a game, but it's all about their mentality. I think a lot of the teams that aren't King and Cass, that play King and Cass, like Denby, like Mumford, like Western, I think a lot of times they go in with the mindset like, oh man, we playing King. You know what I mean? And I feel like if they come in and they play their ball, they can actually play a really good game. Are they going to win? I still pick King to win. I'm not going to lie. I think King didn't play their best game when they played Denby the first time. So I think this time they're going to come out a little bit better. I saw them last week when they played Renaissance. They looked like they executed a lot better. And I still think the game is one in the trenches. But obviously, Denby's defense looked really good last week. And I think if they can find a way to keep getting, they athletes the ball, because they do have athletes on the outside, they should be okay. It should be a really entertaining game. So.
All right, okay. That's what's up. So we're going to keep y'all updated on that. We're going to let y'all know who's making the playoffs, if they can make the playoffs, and how that works next week's show. But going from there, we're going to go straight into the Catholic League update. And St. Mary's and CC are playing each other.
So the Catholic League Championship, which is a rematch. Right. St. Mary's, that was their only loss this season. They was undefeated up to that point. Excuse me. is 7-1 right now. Catholic Central, I believe, they have 3 losses, so that means that they're 5-3 right now. And 4-4, they lost last week. Right. I'm tripping. But no, they 4-4. They really got to get this win this week if they want to get into the playoffs, because I don't really know how the MHSAA favors 4-win teams. Right. They put 5-win teams into the playoffs, but I mean, this is a really big game for CC. Right. They really got to win this game. And then you got St. Mary's. They want that revenge.
Right. You know? Well, the quarterback, I don't know, man. You know, they changed their quarterback. I think it was the Brother Rice game. They changed their quarterback. And he's a sophomore, the other quarterback is a junior, and I think that the Rouge game could have either went, he could have grew a lot or could have exposed a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't handle that pressure. You know, I mean, on the sidelines, you heard it a couple of times, like, oh, he isn't ready. You know, but that isn't a, you know, he stayed in there, he stayed in the game. So we're going to see if he comes out ready this week versus St. Mary's, you know, because they need it. It's do or die for them in the playoffs, you know. He couldn't really get the ball to his playmakers. You know, John didn't really have, you know, a good game because, you know, the ball couldn't really travel. There was a lot of pressure on the quarterback, you know. And
it was really cold too, man. Yeah. I think that weather, when it comes to throwing the ball, you know, I mean, even in the North Farmington game, I think that whole day was just cold. I think, you know, you practicing in this weather. I mean, it was like 40 degrees that day. Yeah, it was somewhere in the 40s. Yeah. It was 60 degrees pretty much all week, and all of a sudden it go down like 20 degrees. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's a huge difference, especially when you throwing the ball and you catching it. You know, I know a lot of people from down south, they don't even like coming up here to play. So it's definitely a big difference with that. But as far as, you know, seeing who's actually going to win this game, it's going to be really interesting, man.
Right. All right, so just a little quick update. Again, Brother Rice lost to Lapeer. You know, they 5-3 now. De La Salle won against Jesuit. They 5-3 now. But this week they play West Bloomfield, you know what I'm saying? And so this is going to be, you know, if they get their 6th win, they're in the playoff. And if they don't, then now it's up to the MHSAA and how the, you know, playoffs work, if they're going to get in or not. So check out that game. We're going to keep you updated on that game. But, yeah, man, that's what we got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. CV?
Man, just stay tuned, man. We got a lot of videos coming. We're going to keep doing this show every week. Shout out to CapTech. And,
CapTech.
You know, we'll see you next week, baby.
Yes, sir. We out.